Jet, are you going to be my girl on XFM 104.9? I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Stephen Merchant. Over there, little roundy bald head of Karl Pilkington. Good news and bad news. Good news is, boys are back in town, we're here for 2 hours.
Hello.
Bad news is, we have no monkey news, gay fella news, or little Chinese fella news.
Really?
We're going to try and, you know, leave that for a week,
Yeah.
and then maybe come back to it.
Yeah. Why do I get the feeling that within 20 minutes we'll be talking about little gay Chinese monkeys?
Karl, think of that.
We have got monkey news.
Have we?
Oh, yeah.
So we've already broken that promise.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to try and sort of talk about something else. I've just done Jonathan Ross show, and they don't talk about the same things every week. It's weird. It is weird. But, or as Karl says, weird innit?
Yeah.
So, gave this show about 5 plugs.
Nice one.
Yeah. So, I think we'll get upward of 800 people listening.
Oh, double.
For the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then turning back.
They're already switching over.
I'd have thought so, yeah.
I spoke to my friend yesterday. He's a little bit of an old fella, and he said that for his own amusement, he had an iPod in his car, and he bought a little sort of transmitter, and he could transmit the music from his iPod to sort of just beam it, kind of as he was driving along, to sort of passing cars.
What do you mean?
It's
Make
weird.
their radio play it?
Well, but if they had it in the right frequency, yeah. I mean, pointless, completely pointless, but not dissimilar to this show, I imagine, in terms of the number of listeners.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, what's the chances of people having this frequency
Absolutely
on?
pointless.
So it's probably about the same, yeah.
Do you know what it reminds me of? When I was young, I wanted to get into radio, I was excited in radio, when I was sort of in my, I don't know, I was 11 or 12, my friend and I, we got a little mixing deck, and we used to host our own radio show.
Brilliant.
From his bedroom. We didn't have a transmitter, so we'd put some speakers in his front garden, in some bushes, and sort of broadcast it to people who were walking
Again,
by.
probably over the week more listeners than this show.
Almost certainly.
Yeah,
I love the idea. It never happened, but I always was hoping that maybe some girls would just come by and just like sit and listen. These guys are great. I don't know where these sounds are coming from. It seems to be that bush, but
Or Noah Edmonds coming along going, who are these guys?
yeah.
Can you get on my breakfast?
Can they stand in for me when I go on holiday?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did sort of pirate radio.
No, go on.
Got into hospital.
Yeah, the normal radio, but you had an eye patch on. Go on.
Dad was in hospital, right? And, he was having some operation done, right? And, went to see him. And didn't have that much to say to him, right? So I was sat there. Well, it's awkward though, isn't it, when someone's ill?
Yeah.
And you don't know.
Boring, isn't it? Boring.
So I was flicking around on that little radio thing they have.
Yeah.
And he had a radio station in the hospital, so I said, oh, I'm gonna go and join this. So I wandered off to go and find it.
Yeah.
Sort of joined that. Did a little show on there. Thought I can sort of get out to the masses here. My mate made a little transmitter. Did a little pirate radio show from the, got kicked out because he found out, and apparently I put the station at risk because all the stuff could have been taken off us.
But from Little Acorn, 16 years later, he's on a show with less listeners.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Can you imagine if you've gone into hospital, you're already pretty depressed, there's the fear of these super bugs in the hospital.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got some quite serious illness, you know, you don't know if you're gonna make it. His voice is what you hear to cheer you up.
Alright, weird, isn't it? I saw a programme about a parasite the other night. Yeah. Apparently, they get in through your eye and eat their way up through your genitals. Anyway,
You
here's
think you've got it
Radiohead.
bad?
Yeah, exactly. Play a record, Karl.
Stone Roses, yeah?
Oh, Fool's Gold. Classic. Stone Roses. Fool's Gold. XFM 104.9. Brilliant.
Can't help but notice you've brought some sandwiches in, Rick. What's in there?
Cheese and onion.
Cheese onion?
Yeah.
Because I've never ever seen you make sandwiches before. I've seen you take a piece of bread out of a loaf and sort of fold it in half. Crumbs everywhere.
Well, Jane made that for me because I was in a bit of a hurry.
I didn't think for a minute that you
Why?
made
Because it looks neat.
Well, they're wrapped in the tin foil. A knife has been used.
As opposed to chewing round the baguette.
Exactly.
Yeah, breaking it in half.
Yeah.
Albert Steptoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. Nice.
It's great, but the onions are strong.
Are they?
Making my eyes water.
Yeah.
If I come and breathe on you,
Yeah.
it'll cure any sort of skin disease you might have. Skin disease. We watched that, Karl, you know, that Karl was raving about that thing about parasites, about worms coming out your brain and that. And I watched
What is this? Is a TV show?
Yeah, called Body Snatchers.
Right.
And it was pretty fascinating. And, I mean, amazingly shot as well. I mean, it's got to win an award for photography.
Yeah.
And there was, one bit that, this little girl had been bitten by a mosquito and laid her eggs, and went to the doctor. She had a lump on her neck, like a boil. And, they pulled it out, and it was like a bullet, this maggot.
Oh.
And they put it down, and it was wriggling in her blood, right? But the whole left was sort of aesthetically pleasing. You know, like that feeling you get, like, I once had an ingrown hair, and I quite liked it when I pulled it out. And it's a perfect little hole. And I thought, I wouldn't mind having those as long as they sort of like healed over.
What are you talking about?
I don't know, it's weird, isn't it?
But why would you want a hole in your body?
No, it's got pulling something out, sort of like pulling something out of your body. It's
I
sort of
don't know what you're
cleansing,
talking
isn't it? No, but it's sort of like, I don't know what
This is it, you watch one programme recommended to you by Carl, you've turned into Carl. You want a hole in your body?
No, it was like, you know, like squeezing a really good sort of like spot. I mean, I haven't squeezed spots for ages. In fact, I've never had spots, but maybe that's it. I didn't have spots.
Right.
And I always thought that'd be nice, squeezing a spot.
I don't know what you're talking about. Why
I
would
don't
these
know.
things be
I don't know what
pleasurable?
to-
Why would an ingrowing hair? That's
Yeah, it
great
was good.
fun.
That was good, because I got it, it was like a little lump, and I pulled it, and then it pulled out, and it was like, left a little
I know
hole.
what you mean.
Do you know-
I get thick hairs.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like, really.
Oh, when they come out, it's like a bit of wax.
Yeah.
Like putting out a little candle.
And
I
that's-
love that.
What?
Yeah.
Because I've got not much hair on my head.
No.
Right? It sort of grows thicker on my face.
No, not true.
Sure, if I go on.
Yeah.
No, it does.
Not true, baby. Go on. No evidence for that. Just made it up.
So it
Yeah.
grows sort of thicker on my neck and that, and now and again I'll see like something that's like a twig. Right? It's
Yeah.
really thick.
Yeah, you feel it, and then you think, oh, I'm gonna have that, and then you work at it, and then when you get hold of it, it's brilliant. It's like pulling out, it's fantastic. It's waxy and build up, and it pulls out and it stretches your skin and it leaves a hole.
I've just realised why we talk about Chinese people, monkeys and gays every week.
Why?
Because this is a sort of replacement. This is what we've got if we're not talking about them.
But it was great as well. And there's this parasite, right, that lives in a fish, right? And what it does, it changes the fish's behaviour. Because to breed it has to get its body temperature up, so it has to get into a bird. Right?
What needs to get into the bird? The
The
fish?
parasite. To
The
complete
parasite
its
needs to get into a
life cycle,
bird,
yeah.
right.
So it changes the behaviour of the stickleback, and it makes the stickleback sort of suicidal. So the stickleback doesn't flee when it sees a heron, it gets caught.
Right.
Because this stickleback has changed its behaviour. Carl didn't quite understand this,
I
did
still
you?
don't really get it. I watched it and you see like the fat fish and that and you go, oh, it's not well. But I don't understand.
Well, all it does is, it has to get into a bird, because it has to breed, to lay its eggs, it has to have a raise of body temperature, so it has to, the fish is cold-blooded, so it has to get into a bird which is warm-blooded. There's lots of things, there's certain things at
Yeah,
that
but
level.
why is it doing that?
Because it needs the temperature. It needs the heat energy for its reaction. Just like, for example, that's why your balls are on the outside. Because the cells have to be a certain temperature to survive. I don't know if it's the sperm or Sertoli cells, but they have to be a couple of degrees below body temperature. Otherwise they'd be in a nice cage and we wouldn't get kicked in the nads.
What do you mean?
That's why your testicles are on the outside of your body. They have to be a couple of degrees below body temperature.
Yeah, but that isn't why they're there. You see, this is like the chat we had last week about the giraffe having a long neck.
What do you mean?
They're there because that's where they happen to be. They didn't go, right.
Well, that's what evolution is. It's a selection process. It's not a will. The balls didn't say, look, let's get us outside, let's get outside of here!
Alright, hang on a minute then.
What?
So a little man monkey, right? Theirs are in the same place as ours.
Yeah.
But they're walking around naked, so it could be anywhere. They could be like on the back. It doesn't matter where they are.
They call it, well, they could be on the back, yeah.
So why aren't they?
This is a completely different... Steve!
You started it! I'm washing my hands of the whole affair.
And we're not only back to balls, but we're back to monkey balls.
Yeah.
In one thing, from about parasites, we're back to monkey ball news.
Yeah.
And we're back to chimp testicle news.
Alright then, so this worm's in a fish.
Yeah. It's like a little platyhelminth. I think it's some sort of...
But what I mean is, why are they about?
What do you mean? They
Why?
evolved.
But why haven't they died out?
Because they're very successful.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah? What do you mean, yeah? Tell me the brain event that made you say yeah in that 1 second gap.
Because in a way I don't get it, and if I think about it too much, it hurts a bit.
They've just been around for years, Carl.
Yeah.
Like Cliff Richard or something like that.
Yeah.
They're just... Do you think there's a big difference, Carl, between the Englishman of yesteryear who didn't complain? I mean, he just got on with things. He might have whinged about the weather and the like, but he just got on with things.
He's carried an umbrella.
Yeah. Whereas
whinge about
nowadays,
anything.
people are getting their Prozac and their antidepressants.
Someone- if
they're going
someone-
into therapy.
Yeah, he kept out of stuff as well. Why are we getting involved now in everything? Thoughts on that, Carl?
It's news now, innit? Sometimes I think, don't tell me, don't want to know. just get on with it. Whoever's job that is, get on with it.
Yeah.
Why am I being told about it? When I've got a problem with my job, no one else knows. No one helps me out and goes, well, I've got an opinion for him.
No.
This might help him. No one helps me. But I'm being bombarded by everyone else's hassle. They love talking, actually. That's what the English do. Talking, but they never finalise it. They love just being in the meeting room, talking, saying, yeah, we could do this, we could do that. I'm the only one in that room not getting paid. Everyone else is on a wage. I'm there looking at my watch, thinking, right, I've been here for an hour and nothing's been sorted. They're looking, thinking we can drag this out for another half hour, get us to lunch. That's what annoys me. They're all sat there just pushing bullshit around the room like dung beetles. Sick of it. And that's what the English do. And it's a shame, because I don't think we used to be like that. I wish everybody just sort of kept to themselves more.
Either one, alone, and two, getting on with it. I love it. Most
I
of
love
the time.
that it started off as some kind of poetic analogy. I don't know what that was.
Most of the time.
I just,
Oh, God. I like this thing of the Englishman I knew growing up, was, you had to, when you hit a certain age, when you hit, like, manhood, or puberty or whatever, 13, 14, 15, you had to start showing your mettle. You had to be tough. I remember, right, when I first started going to pubs, right, so I don't know, say 18, you walk into a toilet, the urinals, and the first thing everyone did was fart and gob.
Yeah.
That was it, right?
Yeah,
if you couldn't do that, then, you know, you get funny looks. You know, you go in the urinal and they'd look at you and go, oh, sorry. It was all about, being a man, you know.
I think wearing glasses makes you slightly exempt from that. It's like you don't have to... People automatically dissociate. It's like if I was in prison, I wouldn't have to do that because I'd just be the professor.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
exactly,
Or brains.
yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I
They'd
wouldn't
come
need
to
to
you
be part
with
of it. I'm never a threat because I never look like I'm going to be a tough guy. So consequently, I live in this sort of parallel stratosphere where I haven't got a piss and gob.
Yeah.
has that got more popular?
Yes.
Has it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people
gobbing?
doing it in the streets now.
Really?
It's
Not
like
in, not in
avoiding-
Hampstead.
It still is, you know. When I walk
The only
in,
person gobbing in Hampstead is me. Jane says, don't gob. People are looking.
well, it is. It's your trail that I'm seeing then. It's like a load of sort of washed-up jellyfish in London. Just big blobs of it. I mean, I don't know how they're coughing this stuff up. I mean, they shouldn't still be alive. Some of them have, like, organs in them. It's just big lumps of stuff.
I mean, that list of idyllic, antiquated England of, you know, tea and cakes and cricket, I mean, is valid. But I think the things that sum up Englishness, I mean, talking of the weather, I think drinking, war, we love a ruck.
Yeah.
We're built on war. We're a warrior race.
We're pretty good at war.
Talking of the English sense of fair play and war, when the crossbow was invented, a lot of people wouldn't use it. They said it was unchristian. So our soldiers sort of resisted it. So Europeans got this thing that needed no skill, and it was shooting these bolts, and they could reload quick. And versus our bowman. What do you think of that? What do you think of going, oh, it's cheating, we won't use it, but having a disadvantage? That's honour, isn't it?
But what's the problem here? What am I meant to be worrying about?
Well, you've got bow and arrows.
Yeah.
They're amazing. They're heavy. Someone comes along and goes, don't worry about that. Here's a crossbow. Just pop it in, put it back. Deadly. Deadly, quick. Anyone can use it. So now you've got anyone with a crossbow killing people.
Women, children.
Anyone can use it. So the Europeans, they're going crazy. But we resisted it because we thought it was, you know, unchristian and cheating to kill without skill. What do you think of that?
But where were the actual bows and that being made? Because that's the thing, isn't it? The company who's making them, they just want
Right.
to get out to a big market.
Brilliant.
That's what they do now with the iPod and everything. It's not about people wanting more music than ever before. That's not the case. It's about having the accessory. And if the bow and arrow was like sold as this, you know, light to carry for all the family, that's how it would have happened. That's what it's all about.
You knew bow and arrow from Ronco.
But what do you think the problem
Yeah,
is?
but you're not quite getting Ricky's point. His point is the idea of there being sort of rules and fair play and etiquette in war. The objective is to kill the enemy.
I don't think war and that is a place to start getting all uppity about someone cheating or having a better system.
Really? You think all fair in love and war, do you?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, but
It's just about
rules,
winning.
isn't it?
No, not in a war. There isn't rules.
What's extraordinary about the idea of English fair play is, you know, famously the approach during the First World War, that we would sort of walk up out of the trenches onto no man's land and sort of politely march at a slow, steady pace across towards the enemy. I mean, and then we were just being machine gunned down. I mean, it was absurd.
And that's the one they had a knockabout and stuff, didn't they? They took a game of football. And
In
that.
no man's land, yeah. Christmas Day.
But he took a football there. If I was on the front line, I would not be getting out the rule book. I can tell you that much. I'd be going mental.
Are you saying there should be some rules or no rules?
I mean, you've got to have some rules, otherwise it's just going to be like Grand Theft Auto, isn't it? I'm just going to go about battering everyone.
Yeah.
And you soon get bored of that.
Which rules would you repeal that already exist, that you don't like?
It's a shame you can't tip as much as you used to be able to.
You mean in a restaurant?
No, just when you're getting rid of a mattress or something.
So fly tipping, you'd like to see more fly tipping.
What do you mean? This is something so personal, he's fed up, he had to take something.
No, it's just that they used to put stuff outside the house, and just like you had mattresses, you had sideboards, sewing machines. The thing is, it was a good way of recycling. Now they say recycle, but we're not recycling. It's just being put in a bin. I'm saying if you've got old furniture, you should be allowed to leave it outside your house without the council going, move that, it's dangerous, someone's going to trip over it. Well, if they trip over it, should have been looking where they're going.
Well, what if they're blind?
What?
What if they're blind? That's why you don't leave things out in the pavement, because blind people will fall over and smack their face in.
No, because I'm leaving it. I'm not leaving it on the pavement.
Well, you just said you were. Where are you leaving it?
Sort of outside the house.
Where are you leaving it, Carl? You haven't established where you're leaving this yet. Because so far, a blind person's fallen over and broken his nose.
I've never
and
seen a
lost 2
blind
teeth.
person trip over anything.
You've never seen a blind person trip over anything?
Definitely not. They're better on the feet than some people because they're more cautious, aren't they?
So
Make it more fun for them, if anything.
why can't you just have this stuff collected by a second-hand shop or
Because
send
they
it
won't.
to
They
a
don't come,
charity?
Steve. Honestly, they don't. I've called up people and they're saying, "Yeah, we'll be there in an hour." And I say, "Right, I'm going to put it out on the street. Then are you going to come and get it?" "Yeah, we'll be there." An hour passes by. They haven't been. Suddenly, the
blind
council
people all
goes
over the
past.
on the floor, bloodied noses.
And the council said, I call them up, do you want to shift it? Well, we might, but don't know when. Well, it's outside the house now. Well, you can't leave it there. It's your responsibility. You'll have to stay with it. Suddenly, I'm wasting time sat outside the house with rubbish that someone else might want. But you're not allowed to leave there because a blind person might come along. What's the dog doing?
What do you make of St. George, the patron saint? What's your take on that?
Is he the one who killed the dragon?
Right. Tell us the story.
There's a dragon problem. Must have been in England.
Right.
George took it on. He took on the job. He was like a rent-a-kill. He came out. The interesting thing with him is, right, he was a hero then. I honestly think if he did that now, there'd be an uproar. Because it's the last dragon. It's the same way we try to save the panda and all that now. If he came out and said, I've done it, and they've done what? They've just killed the last dragon. They'd go mental. There'd be marches. Idiot, bloody idiot. And that's what's interesting.
But it was going around burning people.
Doesn't matter, we shouldn't have killed the last one. It's the last one. And that's what we'd be like. You say you should have saved it, you should have captured it and put it in a cage so we can all look at it.
There's
and
no
stuff.
point. It couldn't have bred anyway. It was the last one.
Was it definitely the last one?
Well, you were saying it was the last one. I'm not bothered either way.
Hang on, what?
To me,
Sorry,
hang on. Whoa.
So you think that there were dragons?
Well, what are we celebrating then?
Well, it could be a metaphor, a dragon slayer. It could be a bad thing amongst us. It could be a foreign threat. It could be things that threaten. It could be anything. It's not to be taken literally, is
But
it?
the real legend of George was that he was a figure who stood up for Christianity.
Doesn't
Have you ever
get-
done anything brave?
There was a kid at school who used to have epileptic fits a lot, and the teacher used to always say, if it happens, grab his tongue. And I sort of had a go at that once. His tongue.
His tongue?
Yeah.
What did he have a tongue for? To pick stuff up? What do you mean, a tongue?
His tongue in his mouth.
Oh, his tongue.
Oh, his tongue.
Yeah.
Right, go on.
And they used to say, if he starts doing it, grab his tongue and that. And I sort of had a go at that once, and it wasn't nice.
Well, how did you grab it? Would you grab his tongue, did you?
Well, I tried to. It's like grabbing a slug. And plus his mouth's going up and down, like you think he's going to have me hand here. So you sort of do that thing where you go...
So you were trying to grab hold of a kid's tongue, yeah? And
He's throwing himself all over the place. It was in a physics lesson. I sort of had a go, and then I thought, this isn't happening. So I just sort of kept putting my hand in, like I'm having a go. But in the head, I was going, I'm not going to get hold of it.
What you could have used is a pair of tongs.
Well, firstly, I don't see why this is brave. Kids have an epileptic fit and you're just supposed to help them out. I don't know why that's bravery, but even given that, the fact that you were thinking more about yourself in that situation than this other kid. You were thinking, I'll make it look like I'm helping, but I'm not really. And yet this is kid having an epileptic fit.
I did at the beginning.
Doesn't
I
that
tried.
sum you up, Carl? Selfish.
No, it doesn't. Because no one else was having a go. At least I did try and grab it at one point.
You weren't doing anything. You were just making it look like you were.
Have you ever tried to grab a tongue? It's like chasing a chicken. It's murder. And after a while, it wears you out. And it was weird anyway, because it was like...
What was he doing it for?
I don't know.
Wearing him out after hours of chasing this kid's tongue.
I love the idea. Have you ever tried grabbing a tongue? It's a valid question.
I love that he's annoyed. He's annoyed that this poor kid's
What was your technique? Were you trying to grab it
just with your thumb and your finger, like a pincher thing.
Yeah.
But it was because his mouth's going down and.
Was he shouting or just?
No, just throwing himself around.
So that's your one attempt at bravery.
Well, hang on a minute. Let me just think.
Trying to grab a tongue.
There was a time you were chased by a bee and you scored a goal.
I forgot about that.
That isn't really bravery, is it? As you were running away from a bee, and the ball happened to hit your foot and go in. That count as bravery. I love it when he goes up to the pearly gates and goes, well, have you done the act of courage? I pretended to grab a tongue. A what? A tongue. A tongue, yeah. Got chased by a bee, scored a goal. It doesn't count as brave at all.
Carl, let me ask you now. Carl, you will be a little bit unnerved about this. Have you seen the film Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
You know what happened there? Well, according to this one here, it says scientists are planning to clone mammoths for a theme park. Look at his face, look at that, he looks like a dog caught in the headlights of a car, he's terrified.
I love Carl.
He's thrown to attention
Carl.
there.
Is that the best news you could have?
Man moths.
Right,
yeah, man moths.
I
man
love
moths.
the fact that that's why he was so excited that they bred a man moth. What is this? Yeah, it's a human being that hides in your wardrobe and eats an entire jacket in a day.
Yeah.
What do you mean, man moths? Mammoths. Mammoth, the big hairy
Have you heard
cow
of a
from the
mammoth?
Ice Age. I mean,
Right.
elephant.
You're not so excited about that, then? You can take or leave bringing back mammoths to life, but a man moth?
A man moth is a different matter. Oh, if we'd have never brought that up, he'd have gone and told someone now.
Yeah.
They've bred an half man, half moth.
This is what we
That's how
mean.
things start.
This is what we mean when you hear these ghost
Are you
stories.
slightly deaf? Is that it? When you hear these stories, is it?
Carl, is English your first language? Are you actually foreign? Is that the thing?
Yeah.
Should we speak
when we say
slower?
foreign, we mean not of this planet.
Yeah. Should we speak slower? Would that be a help to you?
No, go on. Next
What do you
one.
make of
Do
that?
you think that's good?
The
Do you think
idea
that's
of
good to bring back mammoths?
prehistoric animals.
These giant elephants.
They're slow, aren't they? It's not as if they're going to, like, get out and run fast and they can't capture them.
They'd probably be a
like
fence, to be
elephants,
honest,
aren't
Carl. They'd probably be a fence.
they? No, but I'm saying, but you're asking it as if, like, oh, it could all go wrong, but it couldn't, could it?
Well,
Really?
but the point was about Jurassic Park is they thought it wouldn't go wrong. They thought they had it all under control.
that was
and
Have you learned
dinosaurs.
nothing from Jurassic Park, Carl?
Dinosaurs would say, oh, think about it before you do it. But with a airy elephant, it's not gonna...
It's not a concern for you. Would you go along to see him? Would you be interested in that?
If it was in the area.
He's great, isn't he? I'd love a queue,
Nothing
right?
impresses
No,
him.
but what I'd like to do is Carl sitting like Yoda in a little cave, and I'd just like to see people like Tony Blair and, Stephen Hawkins in a queue, and they go and say, Carl, got a bit of a problem,
And thinking of cloning a man and a moth. Problem? Not an issue. No, if I'm in the area, I might cruise around and have a look at it. Otherwise, just don't send it near my clothes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So it's just for a second. As the words man moth came into your head, how excited were you? I mean, were you both terrified and excited? just for the moment when you thought that they'd cloned a man and a moth.
I pictured,
What kind of face did he have? Did he have the moth's head, or was it a man's head?
just a little man head.
Right, what was his face? What did it look like?
He just was like, a bit shocked.
Perplexed, yeah.
Yeah,
So it was like he'd been grafted onto the body of a moth without his consent.
And when he was asleep,
Yeah, he'd woken up.
he just went in for to have a goiter removed, and they said, "We've
He
replaced
woke
your
up with
goiter with the body of a giant moth."
Yeah.
Is that all right, Mr. Jenkins?
So he had the head of a little. Was it a little boy or a man?
little man.
Right. Okay.
And he's just bumping into a lamp.
Just running into a.
if you went into hospital and they'd done something, what's the worst thing they could do, right? What would you rather have done, right? You wake up and you've got lobster claws for hands.
Right.
You wake up and you've got duck's feet. Or you wake up and you've got one horn coming out of your head.
The worst thing,
Yeah.
probably the horn coming out of my head.
Why?
Get in the way.
That'd be useful, wouldn't it, in fights and stuff? And for like parties, people would play
Well, I suppose
quoits.
the lobster claws would also be quite handy there. Oh, that's a wonderful, wonderful clip, and
Yeah.
a great record that preceded or followed it. I'm not sure. But
Oh,
could I make some dedications?
Yeah.
Because I last week. Just before we had to come in to record this, I popped out trying to get onto the tube, and I had a nightmare because there were millions of protesters, so-called protesters. Now, a lot of them obviously doing good work. There was one fella, I think you'd have appreciated it, because I know you are very politically active, and I think this guy has really studied hard, and he's realised the best way to make his voice heard on the international political stage is to ride around on a tricycle wearing a jester's hat. He was really shaking up the bloody government.
wouldn't want to be George W. Bush about now.
No, indeed.
Once he sees that.
Once he sees that guy.
Imagine his aides rushing in and going, George W., look at this guy. Where's that? That's in London, England. Okay, call off the forces.
Is that a large tricycle?
Yeah!
Is he wearing a nappy?
Get me Colin Powell. Why'd you call him Colin, not Colin? It's the way he likes it. Don't about, just call off the troops. There's a in the jester's hat. Call the troops off.
Just bleep some of those bits.
XFM 104.9 of a Saturday. Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Merchant.
Hello there.
But we're not here. No, we're away. So this is the best of, and I hope you're enjoying it. We certainly are.
I had some exciting news this week, Carl. You'll be pleased to find out. I'm worried that you might get a little bit jealous, because it's obviously going to impact on your world quite strongly, because I know you think you'd like things to be quite samey. You'd like the status quo to be maintained. You like the fact that in the past, we've had some crosswords, because I remember, what did you think of me when I first walked in? When I first came in on the first day of XFM?
I don't know why you're making a big deal out of it, because I'm just being honest, though. I'm just being honest about a lot of people who see you for the first time sort of go, well, he's a bit weird.
I know that, Steve, that you brought it up, and then you're again.
But I'm sure that wasn't what he said before.
No,
did he say before?
Yeah, well,
he was a bit weird.
Yeah, well, he looked at you, and I knew. I could see by the look on his face. You know when you know your kid, and your kid's sort of scared of something, and they go, "Why's your kid?" And goes, "Oh, he doesn't like pigeons or spiders."
Right.
It was like that when I saw Carl, and I brought you in, and I went, "What do you think of that, Carl?" I could see the look on his face that he was disturbed.
Sure.
And then, as he said, you get used to it, don't you?
Yeah, you get used to it. And you have changed a little bit. Your hair's a bit smarter now, and you've got some nicer glasses and that, I think. Or I might have just got used to it.
Whoa! Don't bring it up, Steve. Don't look at me like that.
So you say that you think some other people in the office thought the same? Do you know that for sure?
Carl.
Did you discuss it?
Carl.
Yeah, I think they do, yeah.
Okay, leave it there then.
But not just in the office, as you walk through the building.
Oh, it's worse than you ever thought.
Well, no, it's not worse than I ever thought, because as you well know, Ricky Gervais, what did I do on Thursday morning?
Oh, is this the thing,
For those that perhaps are not of the female persuasion listening, there's a magazine. Apparently it sells quite well. It's one of the sort of female, kind of issues magazines. I think it's called Company Magazine. It's like your sort of, I guess it's a bit like your Moore or your Vanity Fair or whatever. Anyway, they run every year the 50 most eligible bachelors in Great Britain section. Ding dong, hello. Who's in there this year? In the 50, in the top 50 of the entire country.
and then they vote, and they put them in order and see who's the most eligible bachelor.
But that's 50 people, right? It always annoys me slightly because bachelor, it kind of seems like a more sophisticated word for loser.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
no.
Which always sort of unnerves me
And also
slightly.
they try and do a different 50 every year, so
But-
it's pretty desperate to get different ones.
No,
You know,
no,
it's
no,
not really,
no,
because
no.
also a lot of people who are sort of like successful, are married, so there's very little to...
No,
Go on,
no. There's a huge. I don't know if this is international. It could even be international. I'm
Sure.
not sure actually. So I
Sure.
could be up there with the likes of Justin Timberlake,
Sure.
etc. So Fred Durst.
Yeah.
That sort of person, you know. So anyway, this is what's exciting, right? Although I'm slightly frustrated because they were telling me that last year, alright, because what happens is the readers of the magazine, they vote for who they think is #1 most eligible bachelor, right? Last year, the prize was a 2-week trip in the Bahamas, okay? This year, I'm rather annoyed, because all I'm gonna win is a moped. That's the prize this year, that's the prize this year, a moped.
Whoa, backtrack.
What?
Sorry? Last year was a 2-week trip to Bahamas, and this year
Just
what?
a moped, all I'm gonna get is a
All
moped.
you're gonna win is a moped.
Yeah, I'm
You're
so-
not you've got no chance.
You're
You've
having
got
enough.
no chance.
You're
Who
having
else is in it? Who else is in it?
Well, I mean, I don't know, lots of them are people you'd never heard of. I know Duncan from Blue. is in
Ding.
this.
So,
No.
so you're second to him at least already. I imagine you're gonna come behind the other 49.
No,
So,
no,
but, you
because
know,
there are people voting for me. They get to vote for me.
Yeah, Steve.
They'll see my photo and then they can vote for me.
Yeah, according to he, I was 22nd most sexy man in the world.
I better take that helmet back.
I would.